Hello, welcome to this week's Steal Like an Artist. Please excuse my absence last week. I had some things to deal with, but here we are back coming in strong on chapter 4. We have Kim and Zandra in the chat already. Guys are just greeting each other. Let's see. All right, so Kim is asking if anybody did a artist date for themselves last week, and she's saying that she did a online watercolor workshop and she loved it. So that's really good news. I would absolutely love to see it. If you guys want to post that over in the Facebook Creative Club group, that would be awesome. I'd love to see what you guys have made. This week's going to be pretty cool. So again, welcome back. Nice to see you guys. Whoops, got a couple things going on here on my computer. And let's see, can y'all hear me okay? Oh no, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Testing. Good to see you guys. Let's see. All right, can you hear me now? Maybe check your volume. Kim says she can hear me. Sandra says she didn't do an artist date. She still does the morning pages, and she's doing them now. That's awesome. Doing your morning pages right now. Perfect. Yeah, I was just going through the book, and I really like this week. So this is kind of a treat for you guys. Sandra's volume was down. So yeah, I turned my volume up. So I might be blasting Kim out now. But I'm glad you guys came back and you're doing your artist dates and you're doing morning pages. I had a really nice art week this week. So I'm feeling really like I've been building up momentum. And so I'm really excited for this week and all the art that I'm going to do. This week was kind of like a centering time for me, getting back into my art and really taking some time to do some things that I haven't quite had the time to do. So I'm really happy about that. So this has been really nice. So good deal. All right. Well, I guess we'll just get going here. I brought some things over here just to share with you guys about some of my process. So it's kind of like a show and tell week. But if you guys have the book, as always, I encourage you to get the book. It is Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. We are using his content, so I do encourage you to purchase the book if you haven't already. I know you guys, Kim and Zandra, already have the book. This week is called Use Your Hands, and it's talking about just getting back into physical creation mode, like in the physical world off your computer. And I think this is just really a nice perspective. So first off, he says, step away from the screen. Kind of funny because we're all on the screens right now. But he's talking about, he's got a quote here from Linda Berry, his favorite cartoonist, and it says, in this digital age, don't forget to use your digits, meaning your hands and your fingers. They're the original digital devices. Use them. And he's talking about how he loves his computer. He feels like it takes away that feeling of actually creating something. And I can actually relate to this a lot. I'll get stuff on the computer, and I can make some cool stuff on the computer, but I like to go back and forth with my own pipeline. And I just find that making something with my hands makes me feel more like I'm getting in the flow of something. That being said, I can get in the flow with digital art. But when you're done making the digital art, as Austin points out in this book, it's just on your computer. You can't like touch it or see it or feel it, which is really cool about like printing off prints and like using your digital art to make tangible items, like printing it on textiles and putting it on clothing and stuff. So like think about all the art that you consume. And, you know, your wall space is really limited in your home. You only have one desktop image. You only have one phone image. I'll save like a bunch of digital reference, but unless I print it off, sometimes it just gets lost in there. So a lot of times I'll take some of the digital references that I take, and I just love to print it off. I'll even take some photos and I'll make a collage on the computer, and then I'll print it off, because even though I can like put it up on my computer and make it so that my screen doesn't go black, I just like to have it so I can like look at it and like, you know. So Kim is saying that all of her work is physical, glass can't be digital. So, but what about like Kim, do you ever like find reference images and create like a reference collage and print it off for your work? Or what is your process like? Is it all analog? I'm curious to see how you're working. Zandra says, good point, Kim. That's dope. She wants to steal it. I'm not sure what you were talking about stealing, but. So over here, we've got a quote from John Cleese. It says, we don't know where we get our ideas from. What we do know is that we do not get them from our laptops. I'm going to argue that, because I get, I made a note in here earlier where like, oh yeah, here I get inspiration for concepts and like designs that I want to like pick apart and see how they made. A lot of that content I do consume off of my digital devices. However, that being said, I still want something tangible for my process. Yeah, so Kim is saying she does use digital research. Perfect. So I think that incorporating all of our resources into a workflow that works for us is kind of what we're talking about here. Zandra says she wants the snakes. You want to steal the snakes. Well, I'm doing a painting based off of this, so if you really want a painting with the snakes, or I can just send you the images. I don't know. Just Google holographic snake, and it's this actual snake that it's pretty cool. I don't know. It looks like an oil slick. So over here, he's got a little image, and it says, art that only comes from the head isn't any good. Which I'm sitting here notating on the side that, you know, I like to draft my complex concepts on the computer before I paint. But like a lot of times when I do stuff solely on the computer, when I paint, the rotation of my wrist and the oh my gosh, you guys in the chat are killing me. Kim says she's gonna send Zandra a bunch of copperhead snakes in the mail. Please don't. Please. Shipping poisonous snakes to your friends. I mean, is this like the new thing? This is the new 2020 trend. It's just going with our people are now shipping each other. Okay, anyway. Forgot what I was saying. Bring it, Zandra says. All right, you guys ship each other snakes. Please don't ship me any. And don't shake the boxes. Maybe open them in a suit, a special suit. So down here, he's like talking about bringing your body into your work. That actual, nothing says love like poison, Kim says. Oh my God. So as Kim knows, and as I know, and probably as any writer knows, or maybe you don't know, when you're actually like taking the time, or like with morning pages, you guys, when you're handwriting your morning pages, there's something cathartic about it. Whereas if you're like typing something in, there's something that still keeps that energy in there. There's something about that physical motion of your body. Bringing it back to dancing, you're connecting with your body. When you're painting, you're connecting with your body. When you're handwriting, you're connecting with your body. And there's some type of port that opens to where your energy can flow out and your aesthetic can flow out, and you're able to just really hash things out. And what he's talking about in here is that on the computer, there's so much time, or on the computer, you have that backspace button. Whereas in analog, there's no Command Z, there's no Control Z, there's no undo. You have to take what you put on there, and you either have to commit to going over the whole thing and redoing it, or you have to work it into your composition, right? Or it can remain there as a source of something that's not complete. And then as you work along through the other parts of it, you might connect a dot on how to work it in. Or maybe it will help you bring something else into the story if you're writing it in. So like when I'm doing a painting, I told the story. I was doing I used to teach for paint night, and I did this Starry, Starry Night painting, obviously like Van Gogh, for one of my classes. And so I was going to go over it and try and touch it up, make it trippy, kind of add my own thing. And somebody dropped a splotch, a circular splotch of red paint onto my canvas on accident. And, initially you go through that process of, wow, I didn't want that there. I'm really upset that you did that. And then you're like, it's ruined. And then what ended up happening was I took similar shaped red splotches and I moved them around, and I placed them around the canvas in kind of a balanced sort of way. And I ended up working it into the painting. And I took it to a fair, like an art fair, and the painting was like one of the first ones that sold. And so it's that mistake that I just worked in that really made the whole composition in the end. And it's a funny story, and the guy who bought it was really like laughing about it. And if that were a digital piece, I never would have had to go through the thought process of, how do I work this in? How do I save this? I would have just deleted it. And then that painting wouldn't have been what it became. And oh, wow, now I'm coming into tangents with life. Same with you. If you've taken an action and there's no way to undo it, and you had to learn from that, then that really worked into who you are now and how you're going to deal with things in the future. So now I've come full circle from art to action and humanity. But again, just bringing that analog in, and like Kim with your glass work, your stained glass. I mean, if you break a piece, then you're going to have to figure out either I'm going to replace this piece or I'm going to have to work this into my design. And there's, again, additionally, just that using your body and feeling it out. And a lot of times that creativity can just happen while you're connecting with yourself. So let's see. I'm getting on into later parts of the book. But here he says, if we just start going through the motions, if we strum a guitar or shuffle sticky notes around a conference table or start kneading clay, the motion kickstarts our brain into thinking. And so I wanted to point out, which is kind of similar with like, have you ever had that moment where you're like, I really want to get down and create something. And then you get there and you're like, wow, I really don't feel like it. And then you can force yourself to actually just do the motions. And then all of a sudden it kind of kickstarts and then you can get into it. So it's really pointing at the state of the mind that you're in when you're the state of the mind that you're in when you're creating. So that's why a lot of artists will do like warm-up sketches or like a warm-up exercise. Same with like going and exercising, you do like a warm-up. So kind of interesting. This is all kind of an integral concept here. Kim says, yes, mind controls so much. Right. Yeah, so like your mood, your emotions, how you're feeling. And a lot of times that action, the physical action, can help you refocus into what you're doing. Maybe take a little of the distraction out of it because you're moving your body to do something, hopefully. Let's see. Ooh. I've got my book all marked up. Typical Sari fashion here. I marked it up for you guys. So let's go over here. I think my comments here are relating to this. So Edward Tuft says, I have stared long enough at the glowing flat rectangles of computer screens. Let us give more time for doing things in the real world. Plant a plant, walk the dogs, read a real book, go to the opera. Oh yeah, my notes directly relate to this. So down here, my comment on that is that the inspiration to act in the real world kind of starts out at that stirring feeling. Like, let's say I'm out in nature. Like, a lot of my art is really inspired by nature. So going out, I start noticing these small details, and then I start to get excited, and then it starts to steer me towards, okay, now I want to go and create. So that inspiration, again, is how he's pointing from. Like, it doesn't always have to be about digital. Like, you need to get back into the real world, and you can find inspiration in everyday little things. And often doing creative exercises is really helpful for finding the beauty in the mundane things. I also said inspiration for concepts and studying designs is easily attainable for me online. But like with Facebook, it's never ending. It's just like, if you get too hungry for inspiration or too hungry for content, it's easy to completely pass over that mind-body connection, that taking that action. So you just got to pick one thing and then go in and do it. So like, I have a lot of online reference, but what I find is, just as I said, when I'm looking for reference online, I almost have to set a timer and just look at this much stuff, and at the end of the timer, if there's something that really stuck out to me, I'll go back to that, or I'll save a few things, and then I'll take whichever one most inspires me and utilize that. I don't know, I just get so excited about so many things. Like, give me a word if that's how you guys are. Do you just find inspiration in so many things it's hard to pick just one? Or are you having to control that in your own creation process, like me, like setting timers? You have X amount of time. So I can be a little bit of a perfectionist. So, and also one thing he goes on to say in here is that the computers can help us, Sandra, the computers can facilitate and incubate that perfectionism. And so it's nice to cut back and bring back, again, that no Command Z, no undo, and just do it and call it and move on. Zandra says, word, she's doing it right now. Are you multitasking, Zandra? I love it. Kim says, inspiration is my ADHD. Okay, so you guys are with me on this. That makes me happy. Yeah, it's like so many shiny things, so many things to do, and a lot of times that can at least for me, stop me from calling it, taking that action. So that's an interesting thing. Zandra says she is multitasking a little bit, but there's too many tabs. And why was I given tabs? Oh my God, I know tabs are the worst. I think as artists too, I think, Kim says, focus, Sandra. I think as artists, now, I don't know, because we're all creative types in here. So do you think that the tab thing is like an artistic, eccentric type of addiction? Or do you think other people are like that? Because I've definitely come into contact with people who look at my creative process and who look at how many tabs I have open, and their eyes get all big and they're like, this is just too much. This is too overwhelming. So let me know if somebody's ever said that to you. I think I'm thinking this is really an artistic trait. Somebody who's got that creative drive in them is really just wanting to pull more and more and more and more, and then like circling back and stopping. Like, we got to be really strict with ourselves. So I think that's a skill set. So Kim says it's like books. How many can you read at one time? I close all my tabs for Sari. Oh, thank you, Kim. Do you want to see how many books I'm reading? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have about 5 books here that I'm kind of alternating between, plus like 2 journals, 1 sketch pad, 2 notebooks, and 1 planner. Yeah, this is a little, Zandra says, oh, word, all the books. Yeah. And then people try to recommend me books. I had a friend last night recommend me some books, and I'm like, okay, I got to put that, like, I'll put that in my Amazon cart. And then when I go to buy something in Amazon, I have to save it for later. And then when I'm like, okay, I'm ready for another book, I have to pick one of the books that I've saved for later. And it's just like, oh my gosh, there's not enough time in the day. Sandra says she keeps book around and use them like normal people use crystals. Kim says books are like crack. Also, Sandra, I don't think normal people use crystals. Can I get a word if you use some crystals? Because I just set all mine out there. Oh man, there was a full moon the other day. Books and crystals are like crack. I'm amending both of your comments. Sandra says, word. Oh, I have underlined an activity opportunity for us. Let's circle back here. Kim says, word. Sandra says, who doesn't like pretty rocks? I don't know, Sandra. None of my friends. All right. Okay, so this is really cool. So Austin says it wasn't until he started bringing analog tools back into his process that making things became fun again, and that his work actually started to improve. Kim says she's moved rocks with her for 20 years. Kim, you're the OG crystal hoarder. Love it. You know, you got to have all the pretties, and they got to be everywhere. They have to be strategic. But yeah, so bringing those analog tools back into your process, if you don't already do it, is going to be really helpful for creativity. I did a graphic design project for a friend, and I did a logo for her. And I did it all. I did the initial design in a sketchbook, and then I did it on the computer. And when it was all done, my friend, and this is why I find graphic design difficult. I do graphic design, but I need to stick to my pipeline that I've developed that actually works. But my friend at the end was like, yeah, this is sterile. So my digital work doesn't have the movement and the flow that my actual paintings have. And part of that is because I haven't developed my pipeline fully. But, you know, nobody likes to be told that their work is sterile. But, you know, I do look at my digital work, and I don't know that I would describe it as sterile, maybe stiff, maybe, because there's definitely less movement in it. So thinking on that sucks. But at the same time, it also goes with my pipeline that works is I'll sketch something out. And then if I need to change anything in the form, then I'll re-sketch it and then re-sketch it. And then if I want something to be more like geometric and structural, I'll put it in the computer and I'll manipulate, like, you know, take a picture or scan it and put it in the computer. And then I'll manipulate it there. And then I might even, according to Austin, print it back out and work with it again and then put it back in the computer and do my final stuff. Like if I'm going to do a vector, which is scalable infinite, versus like a raster, which is like you're stuck with one style. So taking that and working it in with what you know about your process can be kind of like difficult to wrap your head around if you have the emotion connected with that. But it's the same as taking like constructive criticism. So I think I finally understand. And actually, I understood then, but I think working it into your pipeline, you can know how to do it. But again, as an artist, you have to be kind of strict with yourself, because once I do get it in the computer, this is what happens. I get it in the computer and I'm like, oh, I want to fix this and I want to fix that and I want to do this. And it either gets really messy or you keep it very geometrical and it's not as organic looking as like a hand drawing. So this is a little bit of a tangent here about my own process, what works for me. Obviously, everybody's going to be different. We've got some activity in the chat here. Kim says, me looking at your work, your digital does not have your soul like your paintings do. I can really feel you in your paintings. Thank you, Kim. No, I appreciate that, because that's what I'm saying, right? Like thank you for reflecting that back to me and confirming what I was saying about, like you're saying, my soul is in my paintings, right? Like, so I'm still kind of like with my digital stuff, obviously you see it. So yeah, so there's some interesting stuff there. I've done that's why I like 3D modeling a lot. I get a lot more technical on the computer and then it like loses it. Yeah, so Kim's over here in the chat and she's saying pouring your heart out. Yeah, exactly. Like paint your feelings. That's what I do. I paint my feelings. And sometimes even like when I do my concepts, like I'll do my concepts, even my mock-ups for my paintings, I do digitally because I like to really have that form. But then when I start to paint, then it gets in with my flowy movement and all that. So yeah, I think there's definitely merit here. I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, that's something that I would like to work on. I'd like to be able to incorporate some of that soul into my digital work. I do have an art tablet, you know, where you have a pen and it just goes in digitally. And I know that if I utilize that more in my digital work, that it would really bring that together. However, you know, you can only do so much in one day, and mastering all mediums isn't necessary. So, you know, there's time. I bought that tablet and my computer died and it's just been sitting here. So now that I have a new computer, now it's been sitting for so long, it's hard to pick it up. Kim says, your artwork does show your soul and you need to run with it. Thank you, love. Yeah, I appreciate it. My little Sari soul. Showing my Grinch heart 3 sizes too small, you guys. Put me on blast. All right. Oh, so here we have an activity. I think Zandra will really like this activity. Yes, I'm calling you out, friend. All right, so he says it wasn't until he brought his analog tools back into his process that making things fun again with my work started to improve. Sandra says that's not true. Not sure what she's talking about. Not sure which comment I said, but I believe you. I don't know what you're talking about. I wish I did. Maybe elaborate. So every poem in that book, so here we go. For his first book, Newspaper Blackout, he tried to make the process as hands-on as possible. He says every poem in that book was made with a newspaper article and a permanent marker. The process engaged most of his senses: the feel of newsprint in his hands, the sight of words disappearing under his lines, the faint squeak of the marker tip, the smell of the marker fumes. So there's all, Grinch heart. I know, it's my little joke. Thank you, Zandra. Yeah, so Zandra says I don't have a little Grinch heart. I know I don't. I just like to say it, because then if I say something insensitive, I can deflect back to that, right? Oh my God. So he says there's a kind of magic happening when he's doing that physical, and he's taking in all the senses of crossing the words out, smelling the marker, feeling it, hearing it. And he says when he's making the poems, it didn't feel like work. It felt like play. And he says the computer is really good for editing your ideas. It's really good for getting your ideas ready for publishing out into the world, but it's not really good for generating ideas. I think that's debatable. I think like a lot of, like he's saying, the magic does happen, as we just discussed, when I'm with the paintbrush. That's when the magic happens for me. So when does the magic happen for you? What is that? At what point in your creative process, just think about this. And if you want to, put it in the chat. But at what point in your creative process do you get that feeling of like you're just in it, you're flowing, you're enjoying that creation process? That's when the magic happens. That's when your soul can get out into your painting, so to speak. I like to set the mood, you know. I'll put some good music on, whatever vibe, and the vibe of the music that you're listening to comes out into your work. So sometimes I'll put on like a podcast or something, but the vibe of having that music that you're really grooving to, that really lets you get into that zone of that emotion, whatever it is you're feeling. So you can direct the feeling of some of your work just by plugging in a certain type of music. You can direct the feeling of your work by whatever it is you're thinking about prior to doing this. Whatever it is that's taking up your mental space is going to come out. So over here, Kim's saying digital is a scratch pad, working the idea. Exactly. Yeah, so again, I'm like using digital for like my mock-ups and stuff, maybe to finalize some details. Kim is saying Led Zeppelin is her go-to music. That's cool. Led Zeppelin gets me in the mood to cut some glass. That actually sounds like it's drug related. Cutting glass. I don't know, Kim. Is that what you really do? But yes, Led Zeppelin. Some good groovy, good vibes. So what about you, Zandra, when you're writing music? Kim says, hell yes. Yeah. Yes, queen. So Zandra, if you're writing music, do you listen to music? Do you like it silent? Do you put on like some sort of ambient sound? Because sometimes too, I have an aquarium, and a fish tank aquarium, and it has the water going, and like just the water sound of it is really nice. Sometimes I'll put on like a thunderstorm ambient music, or I don't know. It's fun to play with that. Very fun to play with it. Let's see. Here we go. So I jumped ahead earlier in the beginning of this live stream, but he goes, there are too many opportunities to hit the delete key when you're in that computer. He says that it brings out the uptight perfectionist in us. We start editing ideas before we have them. So instead of just getting it and letting it get into that flow, you see it, and then you have the capacity to go back and edit it. And so then it interrupts that creation process, right? Like a lot of the creation process is get it out, 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 get it out. Once it's out, then you can go back, fine tune. Then you can go back, fine tune even more. So get it out, maybe rearrange it, move the pieces around, fine tune it. Now, this is like a description of my process with writing poetry, or even writing copy for my website, or even writing. I do definitely use this with collaging concepts. But a lot of this, I like to get all cerebral with it and think about words, but it is so applicable to visual art too. So we have an example here. The cartoonist Tim Gauld says he stays away from the computer until he's done most of the thinking for his cartoon strips, because once the computer's involved, things are on an inevitable path to being finished. Whereas in my sketchbook, the possibilities are endless. So then I go over here on the side and I'm making my notes again. I hope there's some book person out there that is just cringing at the fact that I write and mark up my books. But for me, if you haven't read the book until you've doodled the shit out of it, I don't know. How have you taken in that content unless you've marked it? I don't know. So over here I say, my painting and art expands on tangible items. You have to work in your mistakes or commit to redoing whole sections. Again, this is back to that painting example. I called it Meteor, Meteor Night, not Starry, Starry Night, because I turned the red splotches into meteors. Maybe I should find an image and show you guys if I can. Oh, I do have an image of it. Let's see. Not physical, tangible for you guys, though. So here we have a nice pipeline to work with that he's providing us. So let's see how this matches with your pipeline, or maybe this matches with your perfect pipeline, but maybe you're like me and you kind of stray away from it and get lost into perfectionism here and there. Again, I shouldn't say that current. I used to be a lot worse with it. So when it comes to the sequence Newspaper Blackout, his book, he scanned all the pieces into a computer, printed them out on little quarter sheets of paper, and then he pushed the sheets of paper around all over his office, rearranging them into piles and then a stack, and then he copied them back onto the computer in whatever order he decided. So I really, really like this. You know, you're taking your concepts and you're moving them around, and he even says that he found patterns and then used that for his ideas. You know, I try to use only digital, and then it just comes out so flat. There's like, you don't have that full experience of creation. So I like that. Kim says, make it your own. Her books are all marked up, and she wants to look back and remember what I wanted to remember. Exactly. And that's what I do. I go through and I read this before we have this live stream on a good day. Usually, some days I have not gone through and read this. I just read it together with you. But the days that I go through and read this book prior to doing the live stream, I feel like it's a lot more cohesive. So yes, going back, you get to remember the points that you wanted to make. Exactly, Kim. Exactly. It's not no sterility here. All right. So with that pipeline, he says it's like an analog to digital loop. And what I really like about that is I watched an illustrator present her how to illustrate a design. And if you have the Adobe Creative Suite subscription, you also have a subscription to Adobe Behance. And what's really cool about Adobe Behance is they have professional artists come on and show you their way for doing whatever it is they do, whether it be graphic design, logo creation, zine design, print design, whatever it is. So I watched this one, and it was this illustrator. I wish I knew her name, but I resonated with her so much because she would sketch out her design, scan it, or take a photo, high-res photo of it, put it in the computer, do some design work on it, print that off, draw on it, put it back in, and just keep doing that until she had the concept ready to go. And she was very pointed in her process. Like, you know, at one point she was doing the outline, another point she was doing, you know, the color, then she was doing the highlight, then she was doing the low light, whatever. She had her process, but she allowed for that analog by going back and forth the entire time. And it was just like a really nice process. And she got a really cool, like, you could tell, it's like, Kim, you were talking about my paintings. Like, you can tell I made my paintings. And obviously you can tell I made my digital art too. There's still my signature there, but it's not as, it feels more flat. So it was really cool because her illustrations were really like, I don't know. It was just really good. I don't know what the word is that I'm describing or I'm looking for. Maybe you do. But it was a wholesome process. It seemed fun to me. And I think that is the most important part, because if it feels fun, you're going to get a lot more playful, which then is creativity. So I think that you're really opening a lot of doors for yourself. So here, he's talking, okay, so this is super cool. So this picture shows Austin's desks, his workspaces. He has two workspaces. One is a digital workspace, and the other is an analog workspace. And they're completely separate. There's no crossover, right? Like, there's no digital shit in his analog stuff, and there's no analog shit in his digital stuff. So it's like he's there or he's there. It's one or the other. It's not like 2 feet in both worlds, right? It's one or the other, back and forth. So what he's saying is, let's see, back here. So he's challenging us here. Set up 2 workstations. Kim says she loves analog. I know you do, girl. I do too. So I have 2 workstations. This is interesting because I have 2 workstations right here. Just to the right of me, I have my digital workstation. I have my, drawing tablet. I have my computer. And then to just the left of that, I have my painting area. And then over here in front of me, I have like a lot of my paperwork and books. And then over here to the left, I have more art supplies and stuff. So this is like my whole entire house is like a whole workstation. But most of my house is analog. We've got some action. So he's challenging us here that if you don't already have 2 separate workstations, to make it like that. So that way you're in one space or you're in the other. Zandra says, oh my God, you guys, I lost our tab. I've been trying to find it for 10 minutes. I need to calm down. So Zandra, you're over there bouncing around in internet world and you lost the tab. And so Zandra says she hasn't ever tried playing music while she makes it, or ambient noise. She might try that. Usually she doesn't like anyone being able to hear me, and my process includes naps. Okay, I love that your process includes naps. Okay, so yeah, music, while making music, I feel like would be really distracting. But I think it would be cool, Zandra, please, if you want to try it, try doing some of your creation process with ambient music. I would absolutely love, or ambient sound. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on that. I also don't like anyone being able to hear me when I'm in my creation process. Because I don't know, it's just like sometimes I'll be listening to podcasts and I'm like looking around, like, is anyone listening? Like, I don't want anybody to hear what I'm listening to for some reason. And your take on taking the naps with your process, I absolutely love. I was listening to this podcast. This artist said that as soon as she got to her art studio, she took a nap. And there's something about when you freshly wake up, how there's no clutter in your mind until you start grabbing onto the clutter and then pulling the thoughts in. Like there's something about right when you wake up, you can be kind of in that meditative state immediately. And you have an opportunity right when you wake up to be fresh. And so often when I had like a stressful day at work, I would come home and that's my time after work to make artwork on my business and things. And a lot of times the clutter from the day and the feelings that the day made and then needing to detox from my day before I sat down to do my creative process was really necessary. And I'm not a good napper, but I have taken naps and that has helped me. Other things that help me is with resetting before I start on my creative process is doing some physical activity, going for a run, going for a walk, getting out in nature. Yeah, so I really like that you incorporate that. Kim says she loves naps. Also, Zandra says she liked Austin's print it and push it around. And she says she does that with her novels and stories, and maybe she should try that with music. I love that. So yeah, I think like I'll do that, but like it's cool if you cut them up and move them around, because a lot of times I'll just do it by rewriting it on the page, but that's a lot more tedious than cutting it out and moving it around. I really like that too. And at the end, you can just paste it on a page. Zandra says also another point she forgot to make was that she did want to put ambient sound into her music, like tree, wind, and frogs. So I like that because like a lot of the, it almost reminds me of like video game music, like, you know, when you're like in the town and like an MMO or like you're out and maybe you're like in a countryside town or you just go out in the outskirts and there's like the kind of melodic music, but you also have like the noise of the town and the creatures in there. I don't know. I'm really partial to that kind of. It's cool. It's like you're marrying the music with the environment. Very cool. Very cool. I think you should do it. Experiment, play, and then show me. I want to see. All right. Oh. Let's see. Okay, so this one's for you, Zandra. So he says, when you get back, let's see. Oh, he says, take $10, go to the school supply store or the school supply aisle at your store and pick up some pen, paper, sticky notes. When you get back to your analog station, pretend that it's craft time. Scribble on the paper, cut it up, and tape the pieces back together. Stand up while you're working or like crouch down. Like a lot of times I'll sit on the floor, on a pillow on the floor. I'll have like a little stool that I sit on. I get up and I move around. Yeah. Sometimes I'll dance while I'm painting. So whatever it is that you do to move around, keep that blood flowing. Then says, pin things on the wall and look for patterns. Spread things around your space and sort them. So Kim says they opened up the 4,000-mile trail from East Coast to West Coast. Maybe we need to do a road trip, walking, biking, riding, and meet halfway, making art all along the way. So like you're backpacking and you're walking on this trail and you're stopping to do art, and then we meet halfway. That sounds fun. It also sounds very time consuming. But I would love that. Yeah, I feel like we do need to have a time where we can all meet up and like craft and do some art together or whatever it is we do, because we've been through this 16, 17 week journey together now on these live streams, and I would absolutely love to hang out and do some stuff. But yeah, 4,000-mile trail. That means if we meet halfway, that's 2,000 miles. I'm about ready to go Forrest Gump on your ass and just start going running, and you guys aren't going to hear from me until my hair's down on my butt. And then we'll meet halfway. Yes. Or we could do a road trip and drive. I had a friend who said that they wanted to visit every single state and do a painting inspired by every single state and just take like a year off and do it. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So I think that, you know, right now we've got this whole virus thing going on, but I think realistically, I would absolutely love to do like an in-person workshop reunion thing. I think that would be cool. So Kim's going to put the link on the creative page. Perfect. Also, like, post your work on there, you guys. I'm absolutely, like, I need to get in and post my stuff on there too. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, we'll do that someday. Let's see. Okay, so back. Oh, Kim says, hell yes to the reunion. Yeah, we're going to do it. So yeah, we'll do our creative reunion meetup. I think that's going to be a thing. Oh yeah, now I'm going off on a tangent in my brain about this topic. I think that we can really flesh some ideas out. Maybe we can, yeah, let's talk about that. That would be cool. I know. Kim's in North Carolina. Zandra and I are here in Seattle. Jeremy, if he's tuned in here in Seattle. We had a friend tuning in for a while. Zandra says she's in. We had a friend tuning in for a while from, did he say it was Minnesota? But yeah, so I think that's a dope idea. Maybe we can just put it halfway. So I really want to go to Meow Wolf, which is, I think, in New Mexico. Sandra says he was from Illinois. Yeah. So I really want to go to Meow Wolf. I think that's in the middle. We could all road trip there, go to Meow Wolf, see the creative. It's a creative collective. Jeremy's sleeping. They've been working on a project. Ooh, very fun. Naps, part of your creative process. Jeremy's doing part of his creative process right now, taking a little nap. Yeah, so if we find something, we could like, ooh. All right, we'll get back into that in a minute. Meow Wolf is freaking awesome, Zandra says yes. Kim says she lived in New Mexico for 8 years. Perfect. So Kim, maybe you can help tour guide us. Burning Man. I want to go to Burning Man. Okay, well, we'll all just meet up at Burning Man. We'll have art camp. All of our craft supplies will melt. Very good. All right. Let's see. Oh, so I wanted to kind of show you guys. I have some show and tell stuff here. So a lot of my ideas are in piles on scraps of paper. And like I have a list of ideas in a digital organizer. But like I really just prefer looking through my ideas on the scraps of paper because I can touch them and move them around, pair them together. Sandra says, word, Jeremy's in New Mexico. Okay, so obviously New Mexico is where we're going to have our meetup. So let's think about, we can't really think about when right now because I am not traveling during this quarantine. I keep getting people, oh, come visit in Eastern Washington. Let's see our friends. Oh, come visit here up in North Washington. Come visit. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to move around right now. But Kim lived in Alamogordo, New Mexico. I have been to New Mexico as a kid. Kim says, no way during this shit show. Exactly. I mean, Canada won't even let us in. So, you know, if people aren't going to let us travel to other countries, like I'm not traveling around. I don't know. People aren't being safe. People aren't being as safe as they should be. So yeah, no, when this shit show is over, to paraphrase Kim, let's all get together. Let's do a New Mexico thing. And I like that. But I kind of wanted to show you guys some of my creative process. Some just sharing time with you guys. But let me write this New Mexico thing down. Of course, I have all my art supplies here, and I just can't find a pen. Let's go. I'm gonna write it in my calendar. Or Mexico, where tequila is cheap. Woof. Yeah, baby. Let's go 2021. Let's go to 2021. Let's go monthly. August 2021, March 20. We'll just put it in January 2021 with my crayon. New Mexico. Kim. Zandra. Art reunion. Perfect. So now in my January 2021 with my green crayon, we'll touch base and I won't forget. So I showed you guys my compilation here. I also have a box of crayons. Do you guys like to play with crayons? Because crayons are like the best way to flush out ideas. Kim says her birthday is January 21st. Oh my gosh, Kim. January 21st. You're in New Year's, baby. Put that in my calendar. When's your birthday, Zandra? So for Kim's birthday, we're going to get together. What in the hell? Kim says she loves to melt the shit out of crayons. Sandra says she can't stand crayons. She was a snobby child. Oh my God. So the 21st. Kim. March 4th. My birthday is April 9th. I'm an Aries. Haha. So, Zandra, I suggest that you get in touch with your non-snobby child and play with crayons. It's really fun. I like to play with crayons in my process to flush out ideas, because what you can get with crayons is form and color, and it forces you to not be a perfectionist and deal with detail. So it's a really nice way to just get form. So Zandra says Jeremy is November 16th. Oh my God, you guys. Jeremy's birthday's first. Jeremy, November 16th. So now everybody on the internet knows our birthdays. This is wonderful. You can send us presents. Kim says her kids are coming up to North Carolina for her birthday. It's a big one. They're from, one of them lives in Florida, I thought. That's awesome. Well, happy big girl birthday. Every year I have a birthday, I say, I'm going to be a big girl this year. Just because I think I'm funny. So some things that are nice. So web design. I don't know if you guys are familiar with web design, but I find it to be really difficult. So what I did is I'm redoing my website right now. I'm almost done. I redid it in this one format, and now I'm like, oh, I'm just going to update my current format. But I wrote out what I want on my home page. I wrote out what I want on my learning page. I wrote out what I want on my shopping page. And I wrote out what I want on my commission page. And it was really helpful for me in like layout design. So like when I was doing like catalog design and stuff at one of my jobs, it was really helpful for me to just hand draw stuff. And it's interesting because a lot of times I've really felt the pressure to do everything on the computer and to have all my pipeline on the computer. And this is just so refreshing to me that, you know, you can let go of that. It's all supposed to be this one way. So Zandra says she got big in 2nd grade. Every year since has been a smaller girl birthday because she's lost weight. That's awesome. Congratulations. I know. I feel like losing weight is a lot about habit. So that's awesome. Congratulations that you've been continuously changing habits. I mean, that's a really big skill set, and I think you should be proud of that for sure. So congratulations on your small girl birthday. I just say big girl because I just pretend I'm 5. I don't know. So that's kind of my process. And then I've been going in and then I wrote in a text file what I wanted each page to say. And then as I put it in, I kind of edit it a little bit more. So Kim says she's a child of the 1960s. So what does that mean? You're going to be 60 this year? No. That's a big girl birthday. Oh, I love it. So you got all the disco stuff. Hell yeah. You got a little Woodstock, little disco stuff going on there. So Zandra said she hasn't thought of the progression in that way, but thank you. Yeah, no, it's really changing habits is a skill set, and yes, congratulations. So Kim says yes, she got all that stuff. Awesome. Oh man, I had like a bunch of 90s stuff. I'm not a child of the 90s, but I'm older than that. But I got to have all the acid wash jeans and all that, you know, like the 90s. I love that the 90s are coming back. It's making me so happy. Some other things you might want on your workstation is a paper cutter. I have this Cricut paper cutter. I don't have a Cricut, but I like this for cutting flyers and stuff if I ever want to print them off and put them in little handouts when I'm at festivals. I also have a little sketchbook here. Oh my gosh, so I did this thing, and I kind of want to make an infographic. I just got like a wild hair. So you can see my things that I've crossed out. That's not good. Ugh, I hate that. So Kim says, you are only as old as you act. I love being able to say I lived through the shit that I have. Exactly. Yes. So you have to have whatever mindset that you want. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get into it, but a lot of our experiences, like you're saying, you lived throughout the crap, that forms you into who you are today. And it's good. It's good to have turned things around. So Kim says drugs have changed so much over the years. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things out there. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with them drugs. I think we're gonna keep the drugs off this. I know I was talking about doing like a psychedelic art book or whatever. I couldn't really find one. There's a book coming out at the end of this month, and it's about psychedelics and spirituality, which I think is really interesting. But again, I want to see if maybe Alex and Allison Gray have a book on it. Zandra says she loves it, Kim. We're artists though, so I guess we can talk about drugs as artists. A friend once told me that artists can get away with that. But I don't know. I don't really have anything to add. Let's see. Oh, so this is really cool. Did you guys do anything in your mind freeing? Kim says, yeah, I think that, the pharmaceutical industry utilizes drugs and drugs, people on a day-to-day basis. So I kind of fail to see where the line is there. I mean, self-drugging is, never consult your doctor before taking any drugs. Let's just say that. Let's see. Anybody do anything in the journal that they thought was fun? I really liked this. It said, fill this page with doodles until you get an idea. So I was sitting out on the porch and, you know, I just started doodling, and then all of a sudden I found a way to like merge my doodles together. And then I came up with like this idea at the top where I said, nature paintings with a human warping and bending between the elements. I kind of already do shit like that. Oh yeah, I have a watercolor over there that I did like that. What else did I do in here? Oh, here's one. Black out one word at a time until you are left with a poem. I started blacking out some words, but I haven't made a poem yet. So yeah, the journal, still working through that, still having some fun with it. I'm just kind of skipping over certain pages, doing what I feel like. This is kind of an example of how I file my ideas. So I had them all in a stack, but sometimes I'll change them into product development. So like I have ideas for paintings and how to draw them. So here's some instructions on how to do a painting. Product development. I don't know. So Ziploc bags work really well to organize ideas. These also binder sleeves. You can put them in a binder and organize your ideas so they're not like as much of a paper monster. I also have a notebook of ideas, and sometimes I'll draw, sometimes I'll write, sometimes I'll draw, sometimes I'll put pieces of paper in it. Sometimes I'll like sketch out like weird design ideas, but it sucks because there's like designs on this notebook. I don't know, like look at this crap. Sticky notes for days, you guys. Oh my God. Newspaper clipping because I like the color palette. So Zandra says drugs are okay when they make a profit for corporate. Exactly. And then she goes on to say the little sheets thing is just a great idea. Oh, the little sleeve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, the whole pharmaceutical industry. Like, come on, you guys. I've got all kinds of ideas about this. and we're on the same page here. I also have a notebook that I use for my workshops. Oh, here's a drawing that I did at one of my art meetups. I started drawing a fish and then I drew a tree. I don't know, whatever. It's just a permanent marker drawing. I don't know. So like in my workshops, I have reference images that I print off, and then I'll like go over the reference. So like this is a really fun one. So I took inspiration from this painting of this baby because I like the shapes, and I did over here with the permanent marker. I just did my own design. And I actually taught a workshop with this, and it was really fun one. That was a popular one. But taking inspiration from other shapes and forms, like you can see shapes and forms and everything. Like, So here's mushrooms, and I went and did colorful mushrooms, and then I also took the same image of the mushrooms, and I was like, oh, these could be cartoony people. So it's kind of fun to turn images of things into other things. So down here, Kim says, I think our ideas and notebooks are better than a purchased book or journal. We have enough ideas between us all that could keep us going on forever. Steal like an artist. Exactly. Like, yeah. So I have ideas for days. Like, I've had ideas in here that I have written down for years. And like, you know, oh, you love the people? I know. Yeah, thank you. You know, I think I should really turn that one into a painting. I think it's cute. I love little forest magical creatures too. So, you know, maybe these people need to be a painting. Thank you. Yeah, so anyway, I like to have these so that when I'm teaching, you know, I can have some images here. So here's one. Here's a cat, my old roommate's cat in my laundry basket. And what I did was I took the laundry basket and I made it into a design. Just roughed it out. All right, so we will never finish all of our ideas. Keep working it. Exactly. All right, y'all. Yeah. Ideas for days. What are you guys working on today? I have a couple paintings that I want to finish. I think I'm going to finish my snake painting, the one that, Zandra, you like that reference image. So my snake painting is at a point right now to where I did a base color, and like I don't want to show a picture of it because it's in this point to where I'm like, I don't want to post a picture of it until I have one to immediately post after. So Zandra says the laundry basket is cool. Thank you guys. Just finding designs in everyday life, you know, find a design in everyday life. Get that. It's fun because when you're limited on what you have to look at, you can do things like take a bunch of crayons and arrange them in a pattern, and then take, I don't know, take like a bunch of everyday items and arrange them in a pattern and see what you get. And it's a fun exercise. So Zandra says she finished her painting collection. Ooh, at least the first stage. And she needs to press them to get the divots out. Okay, I really want to see your paintings because you showed me in our Zoom call and you got new hoops. You think you're going to test them? Like hoops, like hula hoops for flow toys? Or what kind of hoops? Kim says, love you guys. I'm so happy to be here and get grounded. Love you too. Yeah, you guys are really good for me. It's nice to have this to look forward to every week. I really agree. It's nice to have you guys, you know, it's like our little art meetup. Oh, hula hoops. Yes. So you have multiple hoops. Does that mean that you hoop with multiple at a time? So Kim says we need to post on the creative page. I agree. Also, I couldn't find the group on Facebook, Zandra says. Okay, Zandra, I will message you. I will direct message you the Facebook group link. So yeah, somebody invited me to like an event and stuff, and I couldn't find it either, and I had to ask them to just send me the direct link. You're just learning on your body for now. Perfect. Yes. So even movement, dance, flow toys, those are all creative things. Post whatever the hell you want on the Facebook page. Like let's get in there together. Let's support each other. Yeah, I really do like these groups. These are fun little chats. So yeah, so now let's see, what am I gonna do? Oh, I have to take a test. I have to take a test. And then I think I need to paint and I need to reset and go do something physical. I didn't do any physical activity yesterday, so I think that's what's on my agenda today. But Zandra, I will send you that link. Let me find it. Do it right now. But yeah, what else are you guys gonna do today? I'm about ready to tap out, but let's go here to groups. So Zandra says, so Zandra's going to test out her hoops today. Kim says she met with a friend and they danced for hours and then she slept like a baby. Just movement to real dance step. Okay, that reminds me. That's what I was going to do. I was like, oh man, I really need to put on some groovy tunes and dance. So good. I know, baby. Baby, not bae. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on some good music. I'm going to reset. I'm going to get the wiggles out. Maybe have some lunch. Then I gotta take my test and work on some art. That's what I gotta do. Perfect. Zandra might go take a nap. I don't know. Yeah, so let's all get that physical activity. That's good for us. Yeah, it helps clear that mind, clear that stagnant energy. Zandra says she likes this. Yeah, buddy. Me too, babe. Okay, Zandra, let's find this link. How do I send this to you? No. Okay, so there's also a topic on here called Share Your Project. Let's see. Edit. No. Invite. Okay, so Zandra says there will be napping today. Perfect. And Kim says all around the house. It was amazing. So fun, too. You had a friend to do it with. I'm a little jelly. I've just been dancing in the house by myself. My one friend had gotten off work, and he had come over, and this was like a couple weeks ago, and he was playing. He always plays really good music, so he was playing music, and then all of a sudden, I'm like making food in the kitchen, and I'm like grooving, and he's like in the living room on his phone, like grooving, and it's just like we're just both dancing. It was really fun. I like that you had an opportunity to do that with somebody, so it's good. We've got to be safe, you guys. Let's see. Okay, Zandra, I got to figure out how to send this to you. I think I have to use my I have to use my computer. Sorry, it was loud. Can I just freaking share? Zandra. Kim, you were already in this group, right? The hell? All right. Okay, you guys. I'm going to go. My computer actually needs to be plugged in anyway, so this is good timing. I'm going to invite you, Zandra. Kim, she's already in this group. Perfect. So why don't we, can we all try and make a post in there about something creative we're doing? If you guys have anything you want to share, that would be dope. And then otherwise, we'll just be chatting next week. We'll do week 5. If you guys want, feel free to read through the book, chapter 5 beforehand. Otherwise, whatever. Do whatever your heart feels is right. All right, Kim, love you too. Love you, Zandra. Tapping out now. Have a happy day. Great week. Good to see you guys again. Mwah. Also, I will be putting the group in the links in my live streams. That way it'll be easier for us to find. All right. Peace. Love you guys.